Good morning, Ashley here. Welcome to the Daily Stoic Recovery Podcast on the 12th of February. Protect your peace of mind. Keep constant guard over your perceptions, for it is no small thing you are protecting, but your respect, trustworthiness, steadiness, peace of mind, freedom from pain and fear, and, in a word, your freedom. For what would you sell these things? EPICTETUS, Discourses 4.3.6b to 8. From a Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Thank you, Ryan, for this wisdom. We're continuing with our perceptions. We're continuing with our control of our desires and urges and passions. And Epictetus discusses today how we should always be aware, keep guard of our perceptions. So today, as you go about your day, you're going to feel impressions from the outside world, from what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel. And it's your perception that will create your impulse towards that impression. So for me, it's being very much aware of how I'm perceiving things, when I'm looking at something, when I'm seeing something, when I'm hearing something, when I'm smelling, tasting, feeling something. I'm very aware of, okay, what's a thought pattern following that impression, and am I in control of my perceptions? Am I in control of, is it true? Is what I'm perceiving now, is it true? So it's very much sitting still and recognizing your own perceptions, and if the truth behind it before you respond to it. This is a golden piece of advice for today: is before you respond with an action, with a doing, get clear on your perception of that thing. Before you say something, before you do something, before you take any action at all, take a step back. Be conscious about it, be present, be in the now, and consider your perception, the truth of it. And you might get this passion or this perception that you feel low today. You might go through a day and you might feel low. And instead of sitting with that feeling, you might go and do something that's sort of not aligned with your spirit, not aligned with your values. For example, gamble. You might go to the cupboard in the snacks, get some snacks from the cupboard. You might get into an state of anger. You might go into social media and binge on social media and mindlessly scroll through that. You might turn the news on, or you might go and watch a movie, loads of movies. You might go to Netflix. When in actual fact, that all these things can help. I'm not saying that it's good or bad to when you see on an input, you get an impression, you made a perception, that impulse has come through, feeling low, going to watch a movie, a couple of hours, you can take your mind off it, and after you've watched a movie, you might possibly feel better. But if we get in that pattern of making that impression, making that perception of this thing from the outside world, and it's unsettled you, and you get used to just going to things to escape from it, then your body will not, that'll become a pattern, that your body will not be, you're not trying to train your body to just sit with that feeling and be calm with it. And as Epictetus says, it's no small thing, protecting it. So your protection of your inner sort of perceptions, inner impressions. What are you, when you consume things, how are you perceiving it? Really questioning that. And it talks in the book how Stoic philosophy, yes, it teaches you. It's got lots of words on how to manage emotions when they come your way, when you get triggered, and how to manage them, and how to be objective about them rather than subjective, and go back to a state of calm without using anything outside of you, using philosophy. For example, you might go into a job that you despise, and you might be working with people that are not aligned with you, and you might be angry at them, and you might be hateful, and you might be resentful, you might feel guilty in that job. And yes, you can manage when you're in these situations. You can learn to manage these situations. But how about we take ourselves away from that situation, and take away, not feel like we have to go to that job? How about that? How would that go? And it's in the book. It's not being. It might be making that big change. And you might be holding on to this job, feeling that it's fulfilling you, but in actual fact that it's just fulfilling this story inside your head of unworthiness and guilt, and you haven't sort of been made aware of that, and you just go to your job, and you just learn to deal with it rather than just taking it out of your life and seeing what it's like on the other side of that. And and just trusting that freedom is on the other side of that. And I've had my experience. I've had jobs. I've just gone to them 9 to 5. I've been working with people who have not been aligned, and sort of putting this sort of show on, just pretending to be someone else just to fit in with their alignment, instead of being the true self. And feeling I had to go to these jobs to fulfill my fear of thinking I need to go to these jobs to survive. Thinking I needed money to pay the bills, and there's no way out of that. And very sort of small. I was very small. Created a very small story. But in actual fact, there's a big whole world in sort of making the big changes. It could be a change with your diet. It could be a change with when you go to bed. It could be a change of when you get up. It could be a change of doing some meditating, or journaling, or reading philosophy, or going to a gym, signing up with a gym, doing a fitness program, learning new skill, starting a business, reading books, self-help books. It could be that could be the change. Or it could be changing you. It might not be changing the job. It might be you changing your perception of the job. And what I see is that many people don't do the choice of either stay in a job that we dislike, and they just go there and they just try and deal with the emotions that come with it, and keep going to it, and we don't make any changes, and it sort of get stuck in that rather than just leaving it or changing themselves. So it's making that choice of, okay, you need to make a change. So it's either changing yourself, changing your relationship with that job, or changing the job. It's got to be one of the two, rather than going to the job and despising it, and the people, the job, the company, the co-workers, your job, or tasks you're doing, and still going to the job. So it's either leaving the job or leaving your stories of hate and despise, and feel as though you're thinking that you need to continue with that job. And yeah, as we said yesterday, it's being a king or a tyrant. Are you a king or a tyrant? Why are you doing what you're doing? I think it's a very good question to ask ourselves. Why are we doing what we are doing? As much as we can, when we go through our days, it's like, okay, why am I doing this? It's like I ask myself, like, okay, why am I doing these videos? You know, why am I reading Stoic philosophy? Why am I eating what I'm eating? You know, why do I go for running? Why do I go for a run every other day? And yes, just getting clear on, you know, why you're doing things, and it's a good question to ask, because you can get clear on the intention behind it. Because when you have a why, there's an intention, there's a purpose behind it. For example, I'm creating these videos to help other people, to share my story, to share what I'm learning, in a hope that other people will watch it, get a perception of it, resonate with it, and maybe change their way of thinking or their perceptions. And when I'm doing these videos, I'm sort of training myself as well. I'm coaching myself, so I'm reflecting. It's like a journal for me doing these videos. It's getting everything outside my head into the video, and it's a win-win, because I'm sharing my authenticity with the public. So that's my why for doing these videos. You know, why do I get up at 5:30? So I can meditate for an hour. And why do I have cold showers? Because I get in a cold shower, it makes me feel vulnerable, it gets me used to being vulnerable, and yeah, it wakens me up. I feel a difference from when before I went into the shower and get out of it. So that's just an example of always asking yourself, well, why? Reflecting on your midday, why are you going through your day and making note of all the things you're doing? You know, why did I go for a walk? Why did I speak to that person? Why do I hang out with that person? Is it making me a better person? Another question you could ask at the end after that is what I'm doing making me a better person? Is what I'm eating? Is how I'm talking? Is it what I'm consuming? For example, when you watch the news, when you're on Facebook, when you're on Instagram, when you're mindlessly scrolling through, when you're watching Netflix, is that making you a better person? It's being honest with yourself, sitting down in a dark room with a pen and paper and sitting there and asking, okay, is that making me a better person, and why am I doing it? And for me, it's not feeling guilty of doing that thing, it's just being aware of it. It's being surrendering to it, just letting it go, and just making that change. Okay, what do I need to do to change that behaviour, change that action? Who do I need to ask to help me? What actions do I need to take? Who do I need to ask? And what else could I do instead of that will give me as much joy as that thing? And yeah, just keep a constant watch of your perceptions, and steadiness. steadiness, trustworthiness, respect for yourself. You can't expect other people to respect you or trust you or rely on you if you don't trust yourself or respect yourself. So respect your time, respect your whys, respect what you're doing. Because if you're going to a job that you dislike and you're just doing it for a paycheck at the end of the month so you can fulfill this story that you need a paycheck to survive, to buy the things you don't need, to please the people you don't like, it's asking yourself, am I respecting myself by doing that? And can I expect other people to respect me if I don't respect my own time? Can I encourage other people to respect their time if I'm not respecting my own time? That's another question. Can you expect people to love you if you don't love yourself? And are you loving yourself if you are not doing things that you love? So it's uncomfortable. These questions are uncomfortable, but these are very important questions to ask. And on the other side of these questions, after the discomfort, you will see how once you've surrendered to these things, how things just naturally just fall off, and you start doing things that you love, and you start to hang around with people you enjoy being with. You start doing things you enjoy, unattached from any sort of outcome or goal or result, just doing it because you love it. And I've stopped watching the news. I've stopped mindlessly scrolling through social media and working on. Sometimes I do drop into it. Mindlessly watching sports events, I've cut that down. As I've seen, I'm cutting these things off, and it's just making that tough decision. I'm not saying it's easy to sort of maybe release some friends that you've sort of hung around with for all your life, but you just sort of, if you sit down with yourself and you feel like, is that person aligned with where I'm going, and making that such tough decision to sort of maybe release that person with love, and I'm sure they will love you for being honest with them. Or are you gonna hold on to these people and these things and these places to just confirm this old small self that is scared of dying in your body, that is going to hold you back, it's going to resist. It's being aware that any thought of letting go of these things, places, events, there's going to be a natural resistance. It's going to be something inside of these voices that are going to sort of tell you, Ashley, you've been doing this for years, you don't know anything else, it won't work. You spoke to these people for years, you won't find new friends. You need to go to that job to earn money because you've got this story that you need this money to survive, and you Ashley, you're not creative enough, you can't create your own future. You need things to fulfill you. You need to eat that thing. You need to eat that. You need to go and place that bet. You need to go and watch that sport event. You need to follow that team. And you will get these voices, but being aware that this is just your ego. That is once you raise your consciousness, your awareness, once you start to realise that it's just an old story that's just been trying its best to protect you, then you'll start to let go of it once you know it's your ego. Naturally, because it's an old story. It's not real. It's not in this now. Now is just now. We're just here. We're just breathing. All the past stuff, yeah, it's valid, but it doesn't define now or your future. It's just gone. What you did yesterday, what you did 10 minutes ago, how you felt, it's just a memory. So I know I speak to a lot of people who, they introduce themselves with telling me about their old stories, and I do it myself. I spoke to someone last week, and they sort of said, asked me to introduce myself, and I sort of went through my old story of, I had this job for 10 years, and when I was a baby, my dad left me as a baby, and he was violent and this and that, and I was banging into things, felt embarrassed, felt like a victim, blah blah. I had all these jobs that I got fired from in my 20s. When I was a personal trainer, then I struggled to find a job, got fired from 3 different gyms, went to work abroad, got fired from 2, this and that, and going on about my old stories. But when you do this, you start to embody how that felt. You naturally will start to embody how you felt if you're not objective about it, if you're not distant from it. But yes, you can sort of look back at both stories and that happened for a reason, but now we are here. It's a story. How do you feel now? Because that is the only thing that counts, how we feel now. Feelings from the past, it's our choice if we want to embody that again. We can choose to feel however we want now with our perceptions. So just going back to the perceptions, understanding how you perceive things and how you control your perceptions, and realizing that freedom is in that. And people, things, news will try and manipulate a program into you. They will try and program you, but it's up to us to know the choice of whether to install that program that we've been installing all our lives, that we've been conditioned with, which has been keeping us, holding us back, and it's been keeping us in fear and in feeling like we're in control of these things, creating this illusion. It's taking responsibility that we are installing that program every day when we turn our computers on, in our brain. When we go to the news, straight away when we wake up, we start downloading all these updates from the news channels to keep them refreshed, to stay in control, stay in the rat race, stay in the program that someone else has created. But how about we emotionally distance ourselves from all these things and just live for the day, live like today was the last, and mind over matter. And the last question is, for what would you sell these things? What are you selling your freedom for? What are you selling your steadiness and trustworthiness and peace for? What price are you selling it for? Are you going to this job? Are you doing these things on the cheap, for a cheap price? Are you, in the book says, are you going to these places knowing that you're going to be upset and accepting that you're going to be upset by these things, or are you removing yourself from these things? Are you realizing the choice that you can remove yourself from these things? Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. But when we change anything, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's against the ego. It's against what the ego wants. what would you sell these things? If you were to put a price on your peace and your freedom and your steadiness, what price would you put on it? Are you putting all these things in things that you don't enjoy doing? Because every time, as the book says, every time we get upset, the small part of life that leaves our body, our adrenal glands, every time our heart skips a beat, it's part of us that is lost and will never be seen again. Every time we're not in peace, every time we're in fear, we're sucking our energy, our emotional energy. Part of it is going missing. So how about we preserved all this energy for when we need it, when there is an actual risk to us, an actual physical risk, instead of using this energy, instead of being enslaved and using all this energy in something that we don't enjoy and we find stressful, and we find it's hard work and it's too much effort. And in business, there's a misconception that when you first start a business, it's hard, it's effort, it's you have to push and force and pray. And for me, that's why I think the main reason why startups fail, because they feel as though they need to burn the midnight oil. And yes, there's a lot of stories, many hundreds of stories where that's how business owners have started. They put in the work in the first year, and then it got easier. And that's one way of doing it. But is that sustainable? Or can we just let go of that? Just let go of the hard work and effort and ask, okay, why? Why do I feel like I need to force something? What am I chasing? What am I praying for? What am I wanting? And is it sustainable? Are you going to be waking up every day because dreading, oh no, I have to make an effort today, I have to push, I have to work hard? Is that that thought process going to motivate you to get up in the morning and do what you need to do to move this forward? Or can you just let go of that and just go with passion? Just start with a blank page at the start of the day. It's a new day. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow is not written yet. Today is a new day. And be enlightened by outside. What feels good today? How does your body feel? No effort, just intention, enlightenment, letting it come in. Because effort, when we're pushing, it's going to be more resistant to that. It's going to be more resistant to effort and pushing and forcing, and we're going to be more, I believe, more likely to quit if we have this belief. So yeah, that's my video for today, and thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and be aware of your perceptions today. Don't be afraid of making that big change. Love you all. Ashley, over and out.